So you must be wondering, why does it feel like 2026 is like the year of K-pop disbandments? We've been hearing K-pop groups disbanding. I am literally shooting this on the day that CIX announced that they'll be pausing activities. So why is this happening? Is 2026 just the year of K-pop disbandments, or is there something behind the scenes that we are not able to understand or quite see? If you follow the K-pop industry really closely like me, because you have no other hobbies, you must have been realizing the surging amount of K-pop disbandments, sudden member changes, lineup changes, groups going inactive, or even groups leaving their parent agency. But what if I tell you that these disbandments aren't just random, and it's kind of actually a start of a new contract revolution in K-pop? But before I get into all the juicy info, do like, share, and subscribe to the Namaste Hallyu channel for more updates and more deep dives like this one. We have to talk about the 7-year course. If you are new to K-pop, that means this phrase has probably not entered your vocabulary and not caused you to wake up in cold sweats at night, hoping that this curse does not come upon your group. As you all know, K-pop groups are generally under companies or entertainment agencies, labels, whatnot. And they do have their contracts. However, the time and duration of the contract does matter. For example, if your group is newly debuted, most probably they will have a 7-year contract. That is because of South Korea's Fair Trade Commission, which basically made 7 years exclusive contracts a standard to avoid a slave contract. So what ends up happening is the group tends to disband, or even members end up leaving after their 7 years have finally got over, after the contract has finally gotten over. Basically what ends up happening, the members and the group themselves, these are two different entities. I will get into that in a little while. The group and the members have to decide, do they re-sign or resign? So that leads us to the reason, why are so many groups disbanding in the year 2026? Well, the simple answer is that the fourth generation of K-pop is finally coming to the test. And because of the growth of K-pop in the international market in 2019, which led to the rise of more K-pop groups, it feels like all these departures and disbandments are happening all at once. Earlier it used to be simple, where if you don't sign the contract again, you leave the company and you leave the group. It was a given. However, now times have changed, where the idols themselves want independence but still want to be part of the group. And because it's a little different, I'm going to refer you to the Lee chart. Number 1, you can leave the group but continue within the company, which happened to Heesung, and now he goes as Evan within B-Lift, his original agency. Or you can leave the company and the group, which happened for Mark and NCT. You can either leave the company and stay in the group, which happened to Wavy's 10. And there are other options where idols can even create their own agencies, which is the case for Jennie, which is the case for Jisoo, B.I., Kang Daniel, and so many other people. Or they change lanes where they go into modeling, acting, and so many other routes, which has always been the case for K-pop idols previously. The bigger story is that the K-pop idol contract model is changing. The K-pop industry followed only one formula, which was you sign under a company, you debut under that company, and when the renewal time came, you either had to decide to leave the company and the group or to continue. But now these lines are slowly blurring. And this sounds great in theory, but of course you need to even check out the harder reality that the industry itself is getting a little competitive and harder to be in. There are so many groups debuting, which leads to market saturation, and unfortunately even the fans are oversaturated, because the reason why the boom of K-pop happened during the pandemic was because we as fans did have a lot of free time on our hands. So we were interested in going deeper into this world, this new world of K-pop. We even had time to kind of promote them via the edits, the YouTube edits, the fan edits, which still exist but not as much as it was back then. Which is, again, both parties have become oversaturated. And of course, comebacks are expensive, touring is expensive, even maintaining momentum is hard, where trend hopping is more popular than trend setting, and because of which the group image tends to dissolve. And I think that's one part of the conversation that the fans really don't tend to highlight. I also think that part of why it feels also heavy currently, especially because it's also relentless. At one moment you're celebrating a comeback, but next don't hear from the group at all, or you end up getting a disbandment notice, which creates a sense that the K-pop scene is moving so fast that we are unable to keep up. And maybe that's why 2026 feels so different. Not because we are seeing so many groups disband altogether at once, it's more like we are seeing this system evolve in real time in front of us. So The big question, is this really a disbandment crisis? Not really. It's just that the K-pop industry is running its course, and we as new stans or the 4th gen stans who have been with the groups for now more than 7 years are finally seeing it unfold right in front of us. However, it is good to see that these idol contracts are evolving with the times and our idols are fighting for the things that they know that they want and deserve. But we want to know what you think. Do you think K-pop is in its disbandment era? Or is it just an evolving industry? And which member departures or group disbandments have been the most shocking to you in the year 2026? Let us know in the comments below. If you do want more deep dives like this, do subscribe to the Namaste Hali YouTube channel, and we'll see you all next time.